Hello class, it's the second part of your chapter 3 Government. In previous chapter, we have already studied about need for a government, level of government, law and types of government. In this, the democratic governments, India is a democracy. This is the result of a long and eventful struggle of Indian people. There are other places in the world where people have also struggled to have democracies. The main feature of a democracy, people have the power to elect their leaders. So, in a way, democracy is a rule by the people. The basic idea, people rule themselves by participating in the making of rules. Next is representative democracy. In present times, democratic governments are called representative democracies. In representative democracies, people do not participate directly. Instead, they choose their representatives through an election process. These representatives meet and make decisions for the people. One essential of democracy, universal adult franchise. This means universal adult franchise. This means that in the country all are allowed to vote, all adults. In the past, there was a time when the women and the poor did not participate in elections. In the earliest form of democracy, only educated men and who owned property were having the right to vote. Women, the poor, the propertyless, and then uneducated were not allowed to vote. Then, after this, the voting rights. For the voting rights, people struggled a lot. This one, before independence, only a small minority was allowed to vote. Several people demanded that all adults should have the right to vote. Mahatma Gandhi wrote about in the Young India Journal for this, that each and every person have a right to vote. So, writing in the journal Young India in 1931, Gandhiji said, I cannot possibly bear the idea that a man who has got wealth should have the vote, but that a man who has got character but no wealth or literacy should have no vote, or that a man who works honestly by the sweat of his body in the day out should not have the vote for the crime of being a poor man. In USA and Europe, all over Europe and USA, women and the poor have had to fight for participation in government. Women's struggle to vote got strengthened during the First World War. The movement is called women's suffrage movement. The term suffrage usually means the right to vote. After this, the war. During war, many men were away fighting. Women were called upon to do work that was earlier considered as men's work. Women began organizing and managing different kinds of work. The unfair stereotypes about women and their capabilities began shattering. Women began to seen as being equally capable of making decisions and working everywhere. Next is struggles for suffrage. The suffragettes demand the right to vote for all women to get their demands heard. They chained themselves to railings in public places. Many suffragettes were imprisoned. They went on hunger strikes and had to be fed by force. American women got the right to vote in 1920. Women in UK get the same voting right as men in 1928. This one is the women's suffrage headquarters. Thank you. Hope you all have understood the chapter.